Hello everyone, and welcome to the 2020 Chess Essay Online Olympiad Selection Tournament. And I'm looking at the open section as well as the under 20 section. And in front of me at the moment I've got the standings after, well, this is after round 9, but it's after round 10. It's still the same. Panele in the lead, hasn't gone down in one game yet. South African Wolf, Keith Kamalu, has drawn a game. And I think it was against Trophy Master. And this is now the big round. The Wolf and the Vich are taking on each other. And wait, it's not the big round yet. I think it's the Banele and Kanya who are taking on each other in this round. Sorry, my stupid face is in the way. And they haven't started. And well, let's just quickly see the pairings before I go back. This is in the under 20 section. They only have 13 rounds. This is round 11 for them. And we have Kanya and Banele playing, which is a big game. The Wolf and the guy that wins. I've got that somewhere. Okay, so some of the games have started. These are big games, I'd say, at the moment in the junior section. We'll be looking out for them. And with the adults, they've been playing around 15 somehow and mixing up the rounds. They've got 15 rounds, but they're supposed to be at round 13. And I'm looking forward to Steenkamp versus Grandmaster Kenny Solomon. So let's see if these games are going to start. Especially Steenkamp's games. So just go to the TV of a few these players, and here we go. Steenkamp has started his game, and yet again my face is in the way. Need to find a different system of doing this. Okay, cool. Steenkamp going with an English. He has, I believe, great prep in the English. So we'll see what the GM has in store for us. Okay, Queen's traded quickly before I move there. You guys could probably see this. And let's see, Mabusela's playing against Lupus Foreman, which is Charles de Villiers. And Masia is playing against Hakia. Got the game here as well. Masia Hakia can write a song. In this Matt Pond versus Craig Willenberg, all of these games are super exciting, but by now the players are relatively tired. And what has happened over here? Some opening prep? Why is Steenkamp thinking? No. Is this just a blunder? This was a blunder. He thought he had a pin. Blitzed it out. And is now looking at g5. Maybe this is prep still. Trying to remember whether he should play knight e5 now. And after one of the pieces, I guess, taking this. I don't know, it just doesn't look good at all. Steenkamp blunders very quickly. And is going to lose a clean piece. Not seeing any great compensation. Okay, Charles de Villiers and Bramos. Johannes Mabusela versus Charles de Villiers there with white pieces. Hakia Masia. That's 4 games. There's supposed to be another game, I guess. Let's see who I'm missing. Supremacy Blitz. We're missing Kenny Willenberg's game 2, 4, 5. Actually, it's supposed to be 6 games. Unless some of them are done on 13. Actually, who else are we missing? The Real Frenchie versus the Real Frenchie. We need to go to that game as well. Roberto's game against Roland Besaidenote. And this is the open section games for round 13. 2 more rounds to go. 14 and 15. And then the players are done. Yeah, Steenkamp went knight d5, and apparently it's all prep because knight a6 blitzed out and castles. And bishop e6 hasn't touched one of these pieces yet. Wasn't easy, doesn't need to do anything about his position. I think Steenkamp missed g5. As simple as it seems, I think he missed it. And Kenny Solomon will probably be getting the win over there, unless we have an amazing swindle. But the swindler seems to be Kenny himself. So here's just an overview of the open section games. Let's go to the under 20 games. Michael Simpson, Trophy Master. Michael, very aggressive, expansive ideas on the queen side already. The Panda Bird versus Vusi Musi. What has happened? Vusi, I've seen him a few times with exactly this position. It looks like it's come from a scotch. Yeah. I think someone else played this line against him too, and we had that interesting knight takes hitting his Vusi's queen. The game ended up being a draw, but obviously Panda Bird has done his research and feels like there's still some improvement for white or something worth playing for. No, I can't exactly reference the game. Keegan and Paul Gluckman, they've flown through their game. We had this exchange Sicilian, Sveshnikov, and we're looking at the black side of the position. Queen a5, just a trade, and well, who to prefer here? Masih Keegan went for an interesting. Well, I don't know if there's anything to do after Queen h5 except for trade queens. So this is probably okay. This is probably just the line. Keegan, it's Paul's idea to have gone for that position though that they're in. So this is the big game. Kanya is apparently playing on a device. I heard in the meanwhile a touchscreen device which is malfunctioning, so it is pressing and making moves without him making moves. So that's the update on some of the mouse slips so far, just keeping you guys updated. Now he's playing against Manele, and Manele is flawless so far in this tournament. He's not I don't think he's going to take any nonsense. The guy that wins, Devon and the Wolf. So I'm saying these two games, seriously, they're the games that the prize is all about. And Devon and the Wolf have traded down a lot of pieces very quickly. I think it's just the line Devon has prepared for Keith's French. Obviously we've seen Keith play the French over here. And his typical bishop e7, bishop c6 maneuver, making sure the bishop isn't blocked in by these pawns. And trades, and finally some more trades. And maybe white is to be preferred slightly. What the South African Krier is saying, so there's so many of us. Just because you've maybe got potential to play with the 3-2 majority. But I think they'll trade. It's a very dry game. They've already reached endgame stages. So here's where the small work begins, where you're either going to make a draw quickly or the real positional grind starts. They've got enough time on the clock, not one of them with a real disadvantage. I like white slightly more. The knight can't be challenged currently. And there's both still blitzing out moves. Okay, so that's this game. Expected it to be a bit bigger, to be honest. But maybe this is exactly what Devon needs if he wants to try and take down the wolf. Yeah, just b3, keep that knight out. Okay. Trophy Master Michael Simpson. Sorry, I've got a double of the game. And who else? 2, 4, 5 games. There's supposed to be 6. Who am I missing? You guys can also join me as I search for who the game I'm missing. Round 11. Yin Chang, Floppy the Dog. We've got that. Panda Bird 1. And we're missing Mr. Dry Pen, I think. The Crazy Castle. Let me not close that. And here we go. This is the final game. Move this back. Crazy Castle and Dry Pen. Okay, so we've shifted through the positions once. Let's go again. Starting in the open section. Craig Willenberg and Matt Pon, the Nachi. And typical Matt Pon. King stays in the center, goes queenside, very aggressive. And both kings on the king side. Slight edge maybe to black. Well, maybe even retract that, I don't know. White's got the file. I don't know. Very equal. And this doesn't want to close. Okay. And in this game, we've got Supremacy Blitz, who tends to just play very clean chess. Straightforward ideas, no blunders. But actually, Supremacy Blitz has dropped a 2300 rating. He's donated some rating points to his fellow South African rapid players. And this game, black's not really up a pawn. This pawn's just going to drop back. And then it's a battle of an isolated, well, currently isolated e-pawn. You can maybe defend it with f4 later on. But let's consider this pawn as isolated, because f4 is just going to weaken the king side, and I highly doubt f4 will be an idea to solidify the pawn. So it's kind of a battle between these two isolated pawns, and so on. Okay, Holy Cornholia and the real Frenchie, so Roberto and Roland. Roland with the white pieces versus Roberto. And Roland Besaidenote gets relatively comfortable positions usually out of the opening. In this case, these bishops look hungry for an attack, and they're actually sawing through the whole board. Very nicely placed bishops. And by the way, this is actually the best square on the board for this black bishop. There is no other square where it can reach into so many squares in black's camp. It's reaching into 7, just without any pieces on the board. And even if you put it in the position, it's just going to reach 6. So really, square the bishop wants to be on. And this square as well, a great square. You can improve it, but okay, let's stop talking about these two bishops and go on to the next game. Steenkamp did blunder a piece early on in the game. Very unfortunate for him. I thought he just saw an idea and just overlooked the move g5. And bam. Try to play on the king side, and he needs to be very aggressive, else he's going to get punished. He's only got 2 pawns for, well, in this case, one of the knights. But this does not look good for him. Not a good round. An early blunder, and that's a shame because I was really looking forward to the game. And Charles de Villiers, Johannes Mabusela, this is also a good matchup. Charles veteran. Johannes as well. These guys have probably played countless games against each other over the board. I don't know how often they've played online. It says here this is their first game, but some of these accounts are new, and you don't know. In any case, Hakia and Masia. Masia playing for more. Hakia has offered a draw already. And how do we get about this position? Oh, they made a draw. Okay. Can make a quick break. They only spent 13 minutes on the game. And can go drink a cup of tea. There's probably not much to be said in the position. None of the sides have to trade rooks, and you just wait around, I think. So yeah, both bishops on the diagonals also being cut off. Both this bishop, both this one, they're all just staring at pawns, so it's a bit boring. Okay, first game done though for the round. One quick draw, and Michael Simpson had the aggressive queenside advance, but that's been traded off, but left him some nice space in White's camp. So I'm thinking he's considering d5. He knows the e3 square isn't really an outpost yet, but a square like c3. Okay, that's the thing though. You're getting this space, but how do you get pieces to occupy them? And I think one of the nice things about doing something like this, and this is something Leela and all the AI engines and computers have been teaching us, is just to make a move that makes your opponent more uncomfortable than you, so that you can develop more naturally. And so that's what d5 looks like. Michael's obviously considering what are the implications of knight e4 and whether that would benefit white a lot, or he's trying to figure out what the deal is with that. But I think the knight on e4 is not as great as see, if you capture, then you're just giving white the same amount of space as yourself. So I'm thinking d5, allowing knight e4, and then one day maybe just playing rook c8 or something. Okay, this is also a good idea. You can keep the tension. Actually, this is a better idea than I had as well. Keep the tension. You can always recapture and shut down the position if you really want to. You need to be sure that e6 doesn't do anything. In this case, it doesn't. After trades and e6. So okay, so this is a good compromise. Also bringing a piece into the position. Good compromise between my two ideas. Also, in a line where I think d4 is played and knight e4, in a line where you're trying to play bishop knight e3, you'd really need to have something defending the c5 square. So you'd have to play like rook d8, or so just show it again, something like this, this, and sorry, rook d8, and let's just say something silly like rook b1, and then you can play knight to e3, and after the trade, no, you can't. Sorry, scrap all of that. Let's just go on what happened in the game. Just ignore what I'm saying, please. Just watch the games and draw your own conclusions. I don't trust myself. I thought in that line the bishop could come in and pin, but how come it would be able to come in after the d pawn captures on e3? I have no idea. You can't move to your own pawn. You can over the board, but on LiChess they won't allow it. So you need to make legal moves. Okay, now I like Vusi's position actually. Pandabird went into this line. He thought he had something, but if Pandabird doesn't capture this bishop, c5 looks like a serious move. c5, and you can also just play c6 afterwards. c5, and this is starting to look really great for black. So we'll see what happens. Paul and Keegan, They went into an endgame kind of because of Paul's idea and the Sveshnikov to go queen h5 check and trade queens. So he was the one happy to go into the endgame. But now evaluating the position, you know, it doesn't seem like the position really prefers him. But I think it's not too bad. I'm also trying to figure out a way for knight d4 to work. It forks the king and the bishop, so you can get that to work. You'll be very happy. You can give back the exchange. I don't know how bad that is or how good. Let's say you give back the exchange and white goes rook d1 to defend the pawn. There are two rook moves he can make, and Floppy should be considering them. Rook d1. You can play. I was thinking maybe rook knight c5. No, I don't think it's a good idea to give back the exchange. Keegan is playing this well, and he's got two passed pawns. Although Paul has got an extra pawn on the king side, or two extra pawns, they're doubled, and they only feel like one. So Keegan definitely has the better endgame here. I think if Paul goes through this line again, he should really consider the implications of going for the endgame line, and use this game as an example to say, oh, this is the type of endgame I can expect to get. I should really be practicing this. What went wrong in the endgame? But for now, it's still fine. Like, his opponent can't move a5 because the bishop will hang. So his own advancements are actually quite fine. I'm just smelling some trouble on the king side as soon as Keegan Agalis figures out how to start moving forwards with these two pawns. Okay, then in the big game of the round, we have Kanya with the black pieces and Banele with the white pieces. And well, Kanya's managed to give Banele what I would like to call a weakness on d4, an isolated pawn, and he managed to do so actually through something that looks like a very quiet Caro-Kann structure, and then started pushing pawns out of the structure, traded on c4. Now the pawn was isolated, and Kanya is he's doing a good job, but Banele just traded off the d pawn. His weakness is now gone, and he says, you know what, my queen and rook, your rook, they're on the same file, but you don't have any discoveries. You need to make two moves, and the knight also needs to move before that discovery happens. And meanwhile, look at my rook, it's on the file with your queen, and after some of the trades, you're the one that's going to probably have to be careful not to lose some material because of a pin. I don't think it loses material. Let's say knight takes. What is Banele's plan? To go knight takes, and after bishop takes, just go rook takes. And then we do have a situation where moving this bishop would attack the queen, but you can just see, let's say for instance, just bishop g5. You can simply play rook takes queen, and also that pins this rook from taking the queen. Deep line, but maybe it's a good idea. But wait, okay, Kanya playing risky chess here. Let's see if he slips. It'll be interesting to see. So if he mouse slips now, or touchscreen slips, I don't know what he wants to call it. The thing that's been happening to him. But knight takes f6 and queen takes f6. Remember, knight takes comes with check. This is now a line for Banele, attacking the queen, so you need to go queen takes. And then Banele's got bishop takes b7, winning a pawn, attacking the rook. And this is what he's looking at now. So queen here, bishop there. And what does black have? There's always compensation in some of these lines. He's got rook b8. That's usually a resource, and after rook b8, throwing back the bishop, he's got rook takes b2. The queen now defends. And then suddenly Kanya will be in the driver's seat. So let's see what choice Banele makes. Kanya with a good idea over here to start moving away a piece that's stopping the discovery between queen and rook at the moment. The guy that wins, Devon and Keith, people were saying that this is just a very drawish game. early on. But maybe let me just add the comments in, because this is just classic. Classic comment section exploding because of a normal chess game that just becomes violently interesting. So I think we left the game. Yeah, we left the game around about here after g3. So in the meanwhile, Devon is pushing his pawns up the board, trying to steal space, and kept the rooks on the board, isolated the h-pawn, and Keith also hitting back. Oh, what's the problem? Oh, you can actually move your king up. So Devon. Okay, so Keith. Let's just say Keith has got a weakness, this h-pawn, but it can also be a strength, the fact that it's not just passed. So fortunately for Devon, his rook is defended by his knight. So this is the trickiness of the line. Yeah, people in the comment section saying this is changed so quickly. La la la. In any case, yeah, if you move your king away, there's going to be a trade, and then f4 is hanging. But my question is, how quickly can you get to that side of the board to get to these pawns and let your own pawns roll? So let's look at this line. King here, rook takes, knight takes, knight takes, knight check, king up. We're going to see something similar to this. Yeah, okay. Oh, but that is the point. Why I didn't go. That is the point. Why did he go king e2 if that walks into check? Why did he go king e2? Yeah, king e2. King f1, it feels natural. King f1, you don't need to force. You're already attacking his rook. He wants to trade your rook. So step out of the check. King f1. Actually, the line is actually pretty cool, and white should be winning, I think. King f1, rook takes, knight takes, and knight takes, knight takes. Check. King needs to move. And then this knight runs to the queen side, or comes over to the king side, defends with the king. There's an extra pawn on this side. White could have maybe been okay. What? Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. I am just a putzer. King e2 was also just perfectly fine. He wanted to move his king to f3 with tempo and then be able to take on f3. So there's been a few more moves, something very similar to what I was discussing. This is probably going to be a draw. So the fate of the tournament, even if, well, if the wolf will need to, if he draws this, he'll need to beat Banele and then take him to the playoffs and beat him there as well. So that's very, very interesting. This is just a dead draw. So much excitement. Sorry, I was just convinced King e2 was a mistake. King e2 and King f3. Tempo against the knight. Oh, what is going to happen? What is going to happen? Knight will need to come back. I don't know, maybe Devon can pick this off. Why aren't people suggesting knight c7? That makes sense, right? Fork the pawns. What is the issue? And now... Oh, simply b2 is hanging. Why? Okay. Okay, but now knight c7 is a threat. And also you can start playing c4 now. Your king is quite close this side of the board. Okay, we'll come back now. Devon in a bit of time pressure over there. Crazy castle. with a nice checkmate. Quick game, this one. I actually... Dry pin, was he just getting crushed from the start, or is there a reason why he used up so much time? Dry pin and Crazy Castle had similar threats, and setting up, actually, this is like a symmetrical attack position. Moving the knight, isn't that... Okay, this is probably where he spent a bit of time. And queen, and that's just the basic blunder. You need to play, I think, g3 here, and it should still be fine. Okay, Crazy Castle with a quick win over there. Let's run through, let's just quickly go back to Keith and... Yeah, c4 I'm not a fan of. Not a fan of, I wasn't a fan of c4. It feels like you need to play knight c7. Knight takes, knight takes, knight takes. Oh. But now you can push the pawn. The knight is currently suspended. And the king is in time. These pawns are far away from each other, both on the sides of the board. You need to keep this king out. That's a good start. Look at this wall between the king and the c-pawn. And this knight is being cut off. We'll need to run back to get into the game. So, very interesting. Yeah, people are suggesting h5. Unclear for... Obviously, I think if you just stop pushing the pawn, I think you're just dead lost. If a pawn takes, pawn, 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 pawn. Wait, no, wait, there's time to run the pawn. When can... okay, but now... that was tricky. Just quickly see, pawn. I'll just draw the arrows, real old school arrows. And when does white need to actually move the knight to? Wait, he doesn't actually, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 5. But the thing is, this one comes with check. So let's just see what was wrong with pushing the pawn. I'm calculating super slowly. And it's at this point that no, okay, it's black's move here. Yeah, see, now black gets here. And white can actually maybe lose this again. So white will need to run with the knight at the correct time. So maybe then knight here. So now you can sack the knight, but then and it's still tricky because black's knight can continue. Maybe the wolf should have tried pushing the pawn. Now he's becoming quite inactive, running back for white's pawn, and because Keith apparently sent a draw request to I missed it in the game. Black offers draw, white declines draw. So Devon wants to play for the win here. And wow, sorry, I'm okay. So king, knight moves. See, the knight is still so bad. Knight can come in with check. And what's his plan? Knight here. Oh my, Keith is going down. I'm not seeing the good check. King f7. King f7. Whoa. Both these squares. Black resigns. And Devon wins. Well done, Devon. Taking down Keith Kamala in this game. A huge game. Loads of pressure now on Keith. Yeah, great game. Great endgame technique. Let's see where Keith went wrong. I think running the pawn was a good idea. Obviously, there's a few places where stuff went wrong. This is still a draw. Running the king back. I felt like running the king back wasn't good. Yeah. Knight c1. You start with the knight. What happens if you push the pawn? Why is it just... I was saying knight needs to go back sometime. Continue pushing. What is the trick over here? Oh, the king is in time and nothing can come close to the... You don't even need the knight to help. Because remember, this knight is keeping this one at bay. And now your pawn's through. It's actually just the king-pawn endgame. These knights are cancelling out each other. They're not part of the game. Competing over these two squares. And actually, it's just a king-pawn game. And look at the pawns. You need to push a pawn in the correct way. Keep this king out of the box. And if the king wants to move diagonally, this knight is doing exactly that. What a great knight. Well done, Devon. Okay, so 2 junior games done. This is still a big game going on. It's still material equality. Kanya actually has navigated this pretty well. This is just looks like a huge knight. But Kanya with the bishop pair. But Nelly also down on the clock. So this is... this should also reflect some truth about the position. Kanya with an easier position. Having played really well. With well, Kanya is struggling, so... Banele. It's the lowest he's gone down on time so far, I think, in this tournament. And I think he'll play something like 94 soon. Oh, but the rook's under fire, so he'll have to... Okay, 94, sorry. It's a counter-attack. Still counter-attacking. What was his idea? Giving up the exchange or something? White resigns. Wow. Did we just see both the twins go down? Just like that. 94. What? What was he supposed to do here? Just move the rook. I think moving the rook to a1 makes sense. Black... Black just moves check. Yeah. Kanya took Banele down. Nothing to do actually here. Except lose a piece. That would have maybe been the best option. Yeah. Crazy stuff. This is a rough round. Who else of the juniors are still playing? Floppy the dog. Whoa. Floppy the dog. Paul Gluckman is proving me completely wrong. He knows how to play this endgame position. He says, this is winning. I'm pushing through. No stopping this pawn. Your king is too far away. Another brilliant endgame over here. This pawn marches through. King is on a dark square. You're never getting him away. Keegan's going to resign now. You're going to see G takes, queen. He'll play 2 more moves. Yeah, okay. Another brilliant endgame. So the under-20s are playing really nice, instructive endgame positions. I think what Floppy did well, somewhere he kept the knight, bishop in balance and managed to trade down rooks. So it wasn't by his fault that he traded down rooks. This was Keegan's choice. And I expect maybe, yeah. I expect Keegan thought this would be compensation. But the king and knight are relatively close to these two pawns, so he's going to nip them off. And in all honesty, you've only got one pawn on that side of the board. So the knight is also able to move to any square. And look how quickly it came back to help defend. And this is when we entered. Nice game by Floppy the dog. He should continue playing the endgame line of the Sveshnikov. By the way, Panda Bird made a draw, so Vusi had a nice-ish position. I think he did manage to play something like c5 later on, but the endgame just resulted in a draw. So this is the second time that line in the Scotch where you trade on c6 led to a draw for Vusi. Trophy Master, Michael Simpson. Trophy Master took down Michael Simpson a while ago. Okay. Let's see what happened with the open section. Still some games going. Craig Willenberg with the white pieces, applying loads of pressure to Matt Pon, whose rapid rating is kind of struggling. Just f5, and you're picking up the b pawn sometime, aren't you? And also now, ooh, maybe just throw your rook back. Don't play with one pawn. You're probably going to draw. Okay, so he marches forwards. I'm guessing. Yeah, Matt can still take this pawn, so be careful. Maybe run the rook back. And now actually you're threatening rook takes, so I'm guessing king will step in. Black resigns. We're seeing Matt Pon not on his greatest form today. Kenny Willenberg resigned. Gave up the exchange somewhere. So it was like a tactical way of losing the exchange against Supremacy Blitz. Got pinned, losing another piece. A draw between Roberto Dabru and Roland Becerrinote. I don't know, the game didn't look too spicy. So they just traded, went for endgame, and neither of them made two. Well, Roberto had the extra pawn, but I think Roland's endgames have proven to be very good today and yesterday. So Steenkamp resigned as we expected. Definitely just an early opening blunder. I think that must just be so frustrating. Yeah. The move is knight d5 and white is superior. Knight d5, and is there knight takes d5 somewhere in the line? Then g5 and knight takes d7, something like this. But trust me, Steenkamp just got the line a bit confused, and then that happened, which it does. It's a shame. I really thought this would be a great game where we maybe even see a GM fall into the rabbit hole, which is Steenkamp's preparation, but also general knowledge of the game. This was a draw between Charles de Villiers and Johannes Mabusela, Ramos with the black pieces. Hakia and Masia made the draw. We saw that earlier on. And I think that's that for this round. 2 more rounds to go. Wait, is there still a game ongoing? No. I think it's that. And I think we are drawing closer to the Keith and Banele pairing, which I'm very much looking forward to. Especially now that they've both lost the game. And that means Kanya is with them in the lead suddenly. No, wait, he's also lost 2 games. Still interesting. I don't know what that does to the results in total. We'll see when I come back shortly. And in any case, thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. The next round will be posted tomorrow night. And I look forward to seeing everyone. It's going to be very fun. And yeah, stay safe.